And one of my friends was in gunfights in Iraq, and I was like, that's what I want to do. You know, she did that. She was in gunfights with an MP5 riding around in SUVs, and I was like, that's where I need to go. So I went and interviewed for OSI, told him that.
Allowed us this amazing opportunity to come in, record in a different studio. They made us feel all welcome, so big shout out and thank you to them. But I got a special dude on with us today. My boy Josh hit me up. We were doing the 100th episode. We had the event coming on. Mutual friend had connected us, and he does some amazing work. Veteran, and he knew we were doing something for a good cause. He knew we were trying to help our friend Kaylee for the 100th episode, and I saw some of the work he did. This is some of the work that he does, and this is just a very small token of the work he does. He does much larger ones and much more elaborate things than this one right here. But dude, this is one of my this is not one of my prized possessions. So first off, I want to thank you for it. It is absolutely fucking gorgeous. We'll definitely get into everything you're doing with that. But without further ado, Mr. Josh Melching, how you doing? And I say your name right?
Melching, yeah.
Melching. All right, sure, got it.
Yeah.
You want to introduce yourself? Just tell everybody, let the people know who you are.
Yeah. So I'm originally from Michigan. No offense, you know, I'm from Ohio, but
I'm a Steelers fan.
Yeah, a little over 20 years in the Air Force. Retired out of the Special Warfare community. I was a JTAC, calling in airstrikes and stuff. Yeah, and then I got into the civilian sector, and then made my way to woodworking in my own business. Did a little bit of the civilian thing. Went through a lot of stuff all at the same time, and it steered me more to my own direction.
Right. So from what I understand, we got quite a few similarities in our stories and our experience and everything. How old are you?
41. Well, my birthday's in 2 weeks.
All right.
So I'm about to be 42.
Same age. What year did you go in?
2002.
All right. I want to know one. Damn, we went the same. Yeah. Same shit. What was it for you that initially gave that kick in the ass to get in the military?
I had no idea what I wanted to do. You know, my sister went in 3 years before I did, and I was like 100% against it. And I was like, you're the dumbest person I've ever met. I would not go in the military. And that was the first time I flew on a plane was to her basic training graduation. And the second time I flew on a plane, I was going to basic training.
No shit.
So I thought I was going to be a pararescue guy. And the deepest pool in my hometown was like 6 feet at a hotel. We didn't have a high school pool. And I was like, I'm not a fish when it comes to swimming. So I abandoned that real quick and became a maintainer. So jet mechanic.
Right. What all aircrafts do you work on?
F-16s, A-10s, C-130s. So
I work on 130s.
In Germany.
Yep. You went to, did you go to Shepherd and all that for school?
Yeah.
The armpit of the Air Force?
Yep. I didn't get married in tech school. That was like my one accomplishment right away. So
yeah, there were a lot of people that did that.
Yeah.
A lot of people. And we got in, brother. We were still shining boots and pressing our uniforms and all that shit. The real military.
Yeah.
We're the old guys now.
Yeah. Yeah. Now our lockers are in the museum.
No shit.
The whole setup of like how basic training was back then is in a museum now. So that'll make you feel old.
Oh man.
It's an exhibit with cordons around it.
Really? The wall locker?
The wall locker with boot shine and everything. Yeah.
I'll never forget. We were doing, what did they call them? Red lines?
Yeah.
So then in the basic training, you end up doing red line inspections, and for whatever reason, one of the big things is how well your wall locker is situated, and so you have to fold your T-shirt to be these specific dimensions, and fucking your toothpaste and this has to be like this, and no matter what you do, it's going to be wrong every time. They're going to flip that shit. But I can remember sitting there doing mine, and we're standing there all at attention, and they're going down the line, and they would have multiple drill sergeants in there yelling at us and everything, and for whatever reason, I ended up catching one that was he was cross-eyed. And so he came up and he started screaming at me and then the other dude that was standing next to me, and we're both standing there. And I remember he screaming at me, and for the life of me, I had no idea who he was looking at. And at one point, I glanced over, and then he fucking lit into me. That was one of the comical parts of basic training for me. But so, what was it? The initial? So you're starting off as an aircraft mechanic. How do you then segue into special warfare?
So I realized shortly after probably after my first enlistment, I like to go to the gym. I like to work out. I was athletic in high school. And then I never let that go. Usually as a mechanic, if you know the maintainer community, people don't like going to the gym. They go to work, they go grab some fast food on the way home, and they call it a day. Some do, very few. But one guy I had met, he was a chief. He was like, you're a little hardcore for a maintainer. Why don't you go do something else? So I tried to go be a couple different things. One of them was the Air Force OSI, which was the FBI, the Air Force. Mm-hmm. And one of my friends was in gunfights in Iraq, and I was like, that's what I want to do. She did that. She was in gunfights with an MP5 riding around in SUVs, and I was like, that's where I need to go. So I went and interviewed for OSI, told him that, And he's like looking at me like I was a space cadet and was like, that is not what we do. Don't ever come back. And I was like, dang. So I went back to the guy that told me that I'm a little hardcore, and he's like, why don't you go be a TAC P? And I was like, at the time I didn't even know what a TAC P was.
Right.
And by then I was in Germany. And
so for those that don't know, listen to this, what's a TAC P?
Tactical Air Control Party is basically the one Air Force guy that attaches to an Army ground maneuver unit, an infantry unit, and goes out in combat and calls in airstrikes. We bring everything the military has to offer. So if it can blow stuff up, that's what we do.
Same as combat controller? Different.
No, it's a little bit different. So we have 4 different career fields in Air Force Special Warfare. They're basically an air traffic control tower with lethal effects before there was an air traffic control tower. TAPPs, on the other hand, our entire job is calling in airstrikes. That's what we do. Okay.
Who's more badass?
I would say they're both badass. I'm not going to take anything away. No, I love them all. But combat control inherently falls under Air Force Special Operations Command. Tactical Air Control Party, as of right now, still does not. So it falls under Air Combat Command.
Gotcha. Okay.
Aircraft money first, then we get whatever's left. So we're like the stepchildren of, which is fine. We like that.
Right.
They're the little grunt kids.
It gives you love. It gives you a little edge. Look up on their shoulder.
Yeah. So you got a lot to prove, and we love that.
So that's a big jump from hanging out on the motor pool or hanging out in the
fuel shop
and doing all that, doing maintenance, to then jumping out there and being in the real military in a sense.
Yeah.
What was that transition like for you? And then what did duty look like for you when you went in?
Oh man,
Special Warfare.
So I was already a staff sergeant. So I was like, young NCO when I went over. So when I retrained, I was already behind. So I retrained at 9 years being in the military. So people that were 9 years within the special warfare community have already done 2-3 deployments by then. So I'm coming over. 1, I have to catch up. 2, you got to prove yourself. Like, just because you're ranked doesn't mean shit to that.
Right.
Like, we don't even let people come off the carpet, in the team room if they're a new guy. So until you deploy, you're like nothing.
So you're young for an E5, but you're the old guy as far as going into.
Right, because I'm brand new.
Right.
So I'm brand new coming into special warfare. Like, there's young guys that are total rock stars of the community that had already had real combat deployments, going down, getting in firefights and calling in airstrikes. And I'll rank them, but I have no experience.
Right.
So you got to humble yourself real quick coming into somebody. You can either come in, like, be that guy, I outrank you, and you don't want to be that guy.
No, never.
Never want to be that guy. So, yeah, no, it was awesome. I mean, it's what I wanted, though. I trained for 2 years to get that job. And when I did come over, when I retrained from being a mechanic, I had 5 choices. And it was hell trying to get it approved. But the guy that finally got it at the personnel center was like, you put TAC P on here 5 times. You get 5 choices. And I was like, if I don't get to be a TAC P, I don't want to be anything else. And he's like, well, Mom, I'm going to go ahead and approve it. So, but when I got there, like, I was ready to earn it. I was humble. I was, willing to learn from absolutely everybody. And the younger guys taught me the most because they want to teach you if you want to know.
Right.
The old guys, they just want you to get caught up. So, yeah.
So you end up doing how many deployments you have?
So I had 2 as a maintainer and 3 as a TAC P. Okay. So I had 5 total. And then I did 2 years in Korea on top of that, and a bunch overseas. And
Iraq and Afghanistan?
Yep. I did Iraq, Afghanistan, UAE, Kuwait, and Syria.
Where was what would you say is, of all the ones you've done, what was the worst one?
The worst one was probably my favorite, really. I mean, for us, we want to fight. Like, if you don't get to go fight, like, you don't get to go do your job. So, like, if you go on a deployment and you don't get to do anything as a TAC P, like, you're still a new guy to us. So you want to go get into some shit, so you come back with some street cred, in the career field. But Afghanistan was by far for me, when I was in Iraq, it was as a maintainer. So I was on base launching jets. We just get mortared 1,000 times a day and try not to get blown up. But I wasn't in a firefight myself. We were just getting mortared, getting shot at. Yeah. But in Afghanistan, that it goes the other way around. Now I'm on the other end and getting to, bring it to them. So that was my favorite.
So,
yeah.
I remember the first time calling home from Iraq, and my at this point, like, mortars, you don't even notice anymore. And my mom could hear him on the other end of the phone, and I didn't even connect. She's like, what is that? And I'm like, what are you talking about? And then I realized what it is. I'm nothing. Yeah. So then you end up doing all this time. Then you do this time, special forces and all that. So what total time in the military you had said was
just over 20 years. At 20 years, 14 days.
Damn, you had 20. What did you get out as?
E7 master sergeant. Yeah.
Got to 20. And then what was just, you had done your 20, you were done?
I was going to let my career decide. I still loved it. I was here in San Antonio at Special Warfare Training, basically bringing all our new guys into the career field and vetting them out. And I had an assignment to, basically I had the decision. I had done my time in Korea, then came here, and when my time was up as an instructor, I talked to the career field functional guy who gives you your assignment. And I was like, I'll go back to Korea, but I want to go to Alaska or Hawaii. And he said, well, I got both, so which one you want? Anybody that volunteers for Korea automatically gets first pick at whatever they want coming out of there, if it's available. And he's like, I have both of them, so where do you want to go? And I was like, dang, I guess I'll go to Hawaii. Because I was like, if I get a good assignment, I'll stay in. If I get a shit assignment, I'm already at 20 years, I can just get out.
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, if you want to go to Hawaii, you're going to Hawaii. And I was like, awesome. And then I got out. I was like, nah, I don't want to go.
Yeah,
but I knew once I had a good assignment, and I still didn't, I was like, it's my time, and, a lot of stuff politically was going on at the time that I was just not down with. So I was like, I'm out.
Right.
So, yeah.
How was your time over in Korea?
I love Korea,
I
actually.
wanted to go so bad.
Yeah. So I did Korea as a maintainer. Wild. I mean, I went to Korea in 06, 05, 06 the first time. And then, 2015 and 16 the second time. Two totally different worlds. One, I was a maintainer. Maintainer's party. Maintainer's like, that's how we connect. You're away from home. Everybody's away from home together. We're going to go get drunk together. Like that's how we live.
Yeah.
But yeah, so.
Dude, what was I? 19 years old and got stationed over I'm over in Germany, and I thought I hated it. I was over there. I thought I didn't like it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Sitting
there, but could drink on base, do all the things, but thought I hated it, and then got out and realized I made a drastic mistake.
Oh, dude, I love Germany.
Yeah, it was. Now looking back, it was fucking incredible. But
yeah,
I was homesick and under this delusion that everybody back home is doing these big, bad, amazing things, and that's when I come back and realize all they're doing is Oxycontin, and fucking, I made a big mistake by getting out.
Yeah.
But so, where did life look for you? You retired, and then you're just good to go.
When I was getting ready to retire, I started looking at. I knew I wanted a job because one, I didn't know how much I was going to make being retired. Like I'm single, never married, no kids. So
what was your initial? Because I don't know about you, but like when I was getting out of the military, I thought life was over. I thought there wasn't going to be anything else out there for me for whatever reason.
I was pretty fired up, honestly. So throughout my career, like I was always checking boxes because I knew what it takes to get promoted in the Air Force. You got to check the boxes. You got to do school. You got to do, your training, you got to do volunteer work, you got to do all that extra stuff, and you got to check all these boxes. And I loved my time at the end of the military where I was part of the leadership team.
Yeah.
I was an operations superintendent. And I wanted that on the outside. So I didn't know if I was going to get that kind of leadership position, but I was able to find it. I got a bachelor's degree before I got out and in business management, and then leveraged that in the civilian world. Going into Wells Fargo of all places for a gorilla looking dude like me to go work at is pretty comical. But
you did it the right way, dude. I went into the military because I did want to do school. Little did I know to be anything in the military, you got to go to school, especially the Air Force. Yeah, I didn't ever, damn.
I did the same thing.
Really?
I went in because I didn't want to go to college. I was just forced to do college as soon as I got in. I ended up with 4 degrees.
No shit.
3 associate's degrees, a bachelor's, and then, certifications on top of that. But I did not want to do school. But you want to get promoted, you got to do it.
Right. So you're out now. What's mental health looking like at this?
Oh, man. So there's a gap in there. Before I got out, I ended up getting in touch with a nonprofit, actually from our unit. Right. And they were just selecting someone to go on a trip with this nonprofit. And we put in a package, like you have to write up a little essay of why you want to go. And it was just like a fishing trip is all it was. And that was probably a year before I got out. Well, it ended up getting canceled for COVID. They shut it down and didn't do it. But later in the year, they had a retreat. And they just posted on Facebook saying, hey, we're taking some guys in Montana. Look like whitewater rafting, fishing. And I was like, that looks cool. So I asked my boss, like, hey, man, you good with me going? He's like, yeah, you're getting close to the end. It'd be good for you, And I didn't know it was like a full-on retreat. Like it was a PTSD mental health retreat.
Gotcha.
You did all those things, like you do an activity during the day, whitewater rafting. At night, you have sessions with an actual like mental health, like psychologist. These are telling their stories, stuff like that. Of everybody there, I was the only one that was still in. So that opened my eyes to a whole world, the mental health world. At the time, I wasn't ready to kind of let it go because I was still in it. I wasn't retired yet. And I was like, I still got to be ready at least until I'm done with the military. But that led me into where I am now. Retired was great. Couple hundred people at my retirement. You feel like a rock star. Coolest event I've ever had for me in my life since I've never been married. And within a short amount of time, I don't talk to 5 people. Like what everybody, and not saying they're not my friends, they are. But a lot of people, when you're in the military, you assume everybody's your bro.
Yeah.
And then out of sight, out of mind happens.
Yep.
They PCS, they're gone, and you're on your own.
Yeah.
And it became like I had 5 people. And one was my mom, couple of my best friends, my dad, and my sister. And in 1 year, I lost my best friend, and then I lost my mom, all within a year. So it was brutal. Like 1 year, within the year, I lost my best friend, my mom, my grandma, my aunt, my uncle, and then one of the guys we deployed with, murder-suicided, and which is, I'm not saying it's common, but it's too common, So I don't know. It all kind of spiraled all at once, and I had been pulled over for a DWI in the year prior, after I've been out for about a year, and made it even worse because now I'm in the judicial system, so I'm going through all this crap within 12-month period, and now I'm on probation. So it wasn't fun.
No drugs, thankfully.
No.
Thank God.
Yeah.
Dude, we're very similar in that sense, because once you never realize what you got when you have it, and I didn't realize the camaraderie that I needed, the people I needed to keep around me, and all that stuff. And as soon as I didn't have it, it was shit went to shambles very, very quickly.
Yeah.
And then did I'm not sure about your deployments and all that, but like most of the fucked up shit happened after we got back. Like that's when alcohol starts getting introduced, you know what I mean? People's mental health is suffering, their wife was cheating on them, murder, suicide, like all these different things. And so I ended up losing like a couple of the closest people to me in the world, losing these brothers. Then you get kicked out. And now, my last months in the military were not good ones. And so I didn't leave with the best rep or anything like that. You know what I mean? Now I'm looked at like a piece of shit. So I just basically got exiled, and I got nobody now with the people I'm getting high with, and then arrested immediately, DUI right off base as soon as I get off. Same exact shit.
Yeah.
First and only time I ever woke up in jail and had no idea I was there. I'm sitting there, I wake up locked up, in Doe County and clean. And I'm looking around like, why the fuck am I in here? I took a bottle of Klonopin, and then shot up heroin on top of it. Had a sweet Yukon rimmed up because of all my deployment money went into it, like that system, and I totaled that bitch right into a parked car. Cops said they showed up, and I was sitting on the curb waiting for them. But yeah, dude, dark days.
Yeah, I mean, it's just within that 12 months, man. It's and my alcohol story is I just partied the whole time. I partied my whole career. That's how we relate to each other. I wouldn't say I'm an alcoholic or anything, but on the weekends, that's what we were doing.
Yep.
Like we were just binge drinking on the weekend. But when we came back from deployments and when you're getting ready to deploy, so like when I crossed over into the special warfare world, like, and I'm not saying that's what we do all the time, but like you get ready for a deployment, you're celebrating because you're leaving. Then you get back, you have time off. Now you're celebrating because you're back. Now you're training. And I lived outside of Nashville. So like, halfway through my career, I get stationed at Nashville at Fort Campbell, and that's what we do.
Yeah.
We go out drink. So
you guys weren't partying on deployment?
No, I mean, we work on deployments. There's no party time.
Oh.
Yeah. Now it's like
we were able to
play every day. Yeah. So we all you do is lift weights on deployment for us. Lift weights and go do missions.
much more constructive things to be doing for sure. So what was it that ended up you're going through this tough time? You just got out of the military. You got nobody really. What was the things that started helping you pull out of this?
Man, I think I'm still pulling out of it now. Really? I tell people either, and I didn't come up with it, but I say you're either going to a storm, or you're going through a storm, or you're coming out, and I tell people I'm still in it. Like yesterday, I posted videos that my sister just got diagnosed with metastatic cervical cancer, so we're launching a GoFundMe, and she literally let the world know yesterday on social media that she has that, and I'm helping raise money for her hospital bills for it. And that was a year ago yesterday. I lost my mom to cancer, so it's like, I'm not saying it's about me by any means, but it stacks up. And I went from Wells Fargo. I ended up leaving Wells Fargo after my retirement benefits kind of kicked in and I figured out how much money I was going to make, they're like, hey, we're going to be working nights and weekends for the next 3 months. And I was like, no, I'm going to go do my own thing for a little bit. So I did some woodworking stuff. That's how I got into it. And then ended up getting pulled over and couldn't get hired for this, selling cars. I thought I'd go into selling cars for a little bit. And they said no because I'd just been pulled over. So I took that time and spent it with one of my best friends, for another 2 months. And then little did I know, but he passed away like at the end of those 2 months. So I look back on it now in hindsight and I'm like, man, it gave me that time to spend with him before he passed away. And then right after that, I got a good job with an engineering company. Was about to go be all over the US and doing great things. And my mom started to, declining with her cancer. It came back and I was like, you know what? I think I'm just at the point where I got to do my own thing and kind of figure it all out, ride out the rest of my probation time being in trouble and then, get back to it. So, and now it's led me on a whole different way. So
what gave you I definitely want to go back to the stuff you're saying, but around this time you start getting into the woodworking. What initially gives you the idea for flags or anything like that? Like, how did you get going down this direct path?
I mean, I was just I think I've always been a hustler. Like when it comes to like side jobs and side money and stuff like that, I was a car guy forever. So being a mechanic in the military, like I was just a car guy and I've always wanted to make some extra money because I was buying like car stuff, or whatever. And I just would always buy and sell stuff. So I saw somebody make epoxy wave boards, if you've ever seen them on like Etsy or like YouTube. So I made some wave boards, some cutting boards basically with epoxy waves on them. And people really liked them. And the first ones I made sold. They're like, hey, are you selling those? Because I want to buy one. And I sold like 500 to 600 of them.
Really?
And then I was doing laser engraving when I was in the military because people were leaving, getting a going away gift. So like, you leave, we really like you. We got you like a pistol. Support guy leaves, we don't like, you don't get nothing. Right. And I'm like, that's a foul. Now I'm on the leadership team and I got to tell a guy that he's getting nothing as a going away when somebody else just got a 1911. Right. That's a pretty big foul. Right. So I started using our laser engraver and making these great going away gifts. And people asked me when I went to get out, they're like, are you going to do this when you get out? And I'm like, hell no, I'm not doing that shit when I get out, dude. I'd never do that. And then I immediately started doing that. I bought a laser engraver for the house and started doing it, customizing boards, selling to real estate agents and stuff like that. Started doing epoxy wave stuff, picked up. And then, when I went to the engineering company, I kind of let it go for a little bit because I didn't have all my stuff there with me. And then saw a guy making a flag. So when I was home for a little bit, I was just making a flag. And I saw somebody make it on YouTube. I was like, heck, I do that. So I tried. It took me 4 hours to even make it look wavy. Did it in my driveway, made a huge mess. And then somebody saw it on a trip that I was on. Was like, hey man, you got to finish that. It was sitting in my garage. It'd been sitting there for like a month after I carved it. Covered everybody's car in the neighborhood in dust. Like I just made a mess, right? And he's like, you got to finish it. I was like, why do you care? He was so adamant about me finishing this flag. He's like, I want to buy some. I have a man cave decor company and I want those on my website. And I was like, you're talking about like mass producing. I'm out done with one. But I ended up finishing that one. I posted on Instagram and one of my buddies hit me up. He's like, how much you want for that flag? And I was like, dude, I just finished it. It took me forever. It was huge. Like it was on my kitchen table. It was massive and it was full 4 inches thick, wavy, beautiful. Yeah. But I was like, I don't want to sell it, man. It's probably the only one I'm ever going to make. I don't think I'll make another one. And he's like, well, how much do you want? Because there's a dude standing next to me. He's at a dealership. He's like, how much do you want? Because this dude wants to buy it. And I was like, $1,776.
No shit.
And he's like $1,776. And I was like, yeah. I was like, I don't want to sell it. Yeah. And dude in the background's like, I'll take it.
No shit.
And I was like, damn it, dude. So then I started making them thinner and smaller, like figuring out how to do the sizing so you can hang them on a wall. Yeah. And I'm about to hit 400 of them now. So
really?
But yeah, and it's not even like the selling because I donate. I'll give them to people as gifts and thank yous and stuff. It's the connections that you make out of them. It's crazy where they've ended up. Those are in, billionaires' car collections in their garage. Like there's Bugatti, there's my flag. There's, they're on all over the world. They're, they have them up at Archery Country, and if they haven't put them up.
Yeah. I think that was originally, that was originally where it got shown to me. Yeah. I'm like, holy shit, dude makes these? Yeah. And then he's like, I'm going to hit him up. Yeah. So yeah, dude, I was so excited. They're fucking gorgeous.
Yeah. No, it's just the connections that it's made, man. And I have a ton of stories of the great stuff that has come out of those flags. Like I gave them to people. I told the story this morning real quick. I
was going to say, give me one.
He's done it a couple times, but I gave a flag to a guy for he's a good friend of mine. We went up to his property and went and hunted Ohio. And I was like, hey, man, here you go. Like, he does a ton for veterans. He always has veteran organizations out to his property to hunt. Just amazing guy. And I gave him a big one, and he put it on his wall at his office. And yesterday he hits me up. I just posted all the stuff with my sister, and he hits me up. He's like, hey, man, I want to run something by you. And he's like, this family just got in a car accident, and they have, a bunch of young kids, and a couple of them already passed away. Ohio just got hit with snow. This is like last week. And a couple of them already passed away. All of them are under 10 years old. And the other ones are still injured, spinal injuries and all this stuff. I want to do something to raise money for them. And in my mind, I'm already like, how can I get this dude a flag? Then he's like, what do you think about me giving them the flag you gave me? And I was like, I was already thinking that, the prop, he was like, it's number 357 that I gave him. And he's like, I really love number 357. But he's like, I don't think we have a choice. He's like, I got to give it to him. And I was like, if you give it to him, I'll give you another one to go with it, but it's that. And I said it this morning on a video. I was like, I wish I could capture the spirit of people that have that, like the giving mindset that a lot of people just don't have, because it's almost, you feel guilty once you see how it feels to like do something amazing for somebody. Like, you just can't give that to people. And, once people find that, they're like, man, that made me feel really good. I'm like, I know, just keep doing it. That's where I'm going now. So like, I could go back to work now, but I'm like, man, I get to do such cool shit and like help so many people with what I'm doing. And I'm like, I don't know if I can go back to work. Plus I hunt too, but yeah.
Yeah, you got to do that.
But I'm like, this is too cool, man. I think either I have to figure this out and launch it and it doesn't do anything, or, I keep doing it and it's just what I do. So
you do, is it all American flags? You do like all the branches?
Do whatever anybody wants.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you also do coin holders?
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah, I finally started making coin racks. People harassed me for like 2 or 3 years since I started woodworking. Everybody in the military wants a coin rack. And I was like, I don't do shadow boxes, I don't do coin racks. And finally I had like 200 people ask me for a coin rack. And I was like, let me figure this out. I was trying to put shelves on that. So if you think about it, putting shelves across that, it's a wavy flag. It's tough.
Yeah.
So I was like, I wanted to find a way to keep it wavy. And then I was like, well, the people that want a coin rack just want a coin rack. It doesn't have to be wavy. And I just started making them within the last 2 months. Mm-hmm. And I'm out for 20 of them that I've made now. And everybody, they love them. I made a giant one. One of my buddies hit me up, was like, I need a big one. And I was like, these ones are pretty big, man. They're 21 by 39. And he's like, no, I need a bigger one. And I was like 4 by 6? And he's like, yeah. And I was like, oh my God, dude. And I was like, you're talking a couple $1,000s worth of a flag. He's like, cool, send me an invoice. And I was like, damn it.
Yeah, bro, they're so good.
Yeah, they,
balking the price.
If people love them, man, I have a hard time saying no.
Yeah.
I did have somebody ask me to make 2 10-foot by 20-foot flags. And I said, at first I was like thinking of how I could do it. They wanted it for a ranch. And I was like, I have a 3-car garage, but it would take up my whole garage and I'd have to assemble it in my driveway and all this stuff. And I was like, there's no way, dude. I was like, you're talking about like 45 grand a piece to make something like that, and they're like, is that your quote? And I was like, no, because they were going to say yes.
They were going to lock you in.
Yeah. And I was like, no. But, yeah, I've made some cool stuff, man. It's, making the real crazy stuff slows me down. But I can't help myself sometimes, right? I'm making a deer sculpture right now.
Let's go.
Yeah.
For those that don't know, he's talking about, coin racks in the military. Coins are very big. And so my first introduction to coins was getting my airman's coin in Air Force basic training. But basically the challenge coins, right?
Right.
And so if you're high ranking, if you're somebody special, or if you've got some extra money and you want to have coins, if you're a general, high ranking person, you have these coins. And so if you do something good, if you get a special assignment, everybody from the president, everybody seems to have a coin. And so through your military career, you're able to collect some of these coins and kind of look back and see all the cool people you were around and stuff like that. So a lot of pride comes out of these coins. And so you'll see some guys that have done 20 years or whatever, and they'll have a whole arsenal of coins. And so he's building these amazing racks to just display those for people. And check out, what is your, just while I'm thinking of, what's your IG?
It's War's End. Wars
End.
Wars _end.
If you want to see some beautiful craftsmanship, take a look at this man's Instagram. You will not be disappointed.
Yeah.
So, dude, I want to go back now to what we were talking about, because you're basically saying you're like still kind of in the storm. And so, like, on a daily basis, what is it that you're doing that you think like that fills your cup? what's helping you come out of that storm? You got community, you part of any programs, speaking, like any of that stuff. What are you doing?
Man, I do a little bit of everything. I have so many different people reaching out to support different organizations at all times. My own personal mission is supporting these organizations. You know, like right now I'm doing stuff for my sister and, you know, her battle against cancer too.
And while we're talking about it, and I want to make sure we get it, flash it up on the screen, but what is her, you said you just set up a GoFundMe.
Yes.
What is her GoFundMe?
Oh man, it's linked in my bio on War's End on my Instagram. I don't know. It's a real specific like link on GoFundMe, but it's on there. Her name's Josh Melching too. So
I want, if we can, I'd like to try to get that up in the YouTube description or anything. And I want you to reach out.
Yeah. But yeah, man, it's I fill my cup by helping other people and changing the way people think, changing the way people kind of deal with each other. I just became a TikToker, and I started doing these videos. Throughout my time in the military, like I've always been somebody that likes to listen to motivational speakers like Joe Rogan. I would always listen to Joe Rogan's, you know, the clipped YouTube videos of all the motivational speakers, you know, Tony Robbins and like all the big ones, Eric Thomas, like Jim Rohn, all these guys that are like super influential people. And I would just listen to them all the time, not really thinking that everybody else doesn't listen to them. You know what I mean? And I pull from those all day. So like when I go to the gym in the morning, I used to listen to Screamo, and now I listen to these people that are just amazing speakers to try and change the way people think. And that's where I changed it a little bit. And on my TikTok and Instagram, when I started doing those little snippets of wisdom, to give people kind of on a down to earth level, you know, a lot of people don't want to listen to somebody that's a psychologist, but if it came from me and I'm just, you know, one of their buddies, they're like, dang dude, like I didn't really think of that, you know, and relate it to my life and what I'm going through. They take it to heart and they listen to a ton of people message me. They're like, man, I love what you're doing. I don't know why you started doing that, but keep doing it. And they're like, all right. So
I feel like that's definitely another similarity in our story, because I'm not sure how you feel, but I've always said I will never be the guy that's holding my phone up and doing videos or anything like that. But of course, here we are.
Yeah. And I don't mind it. I think it gave me an outlet. You know, I'm going through a lot and I don't show a lot of emotion. I don't sit at home and cry. You know, losing my mom, my best friend, I think about every day. I go to call them and they're not there. You know what I mean? So to me, the phone, like saying whatever's on my mind and then relating it to go to the world is my way of dealing with it myself, I think. Cause everybody's like, man, you talk about change a lot. And they're like, you know, I don't think I need to change that much. And I'm like, well, I'm not just talking about you. I'm talking about me. You know what I mean? So, everybody can improve, but yeah, it gives you a whole nother outlet. But these organizations that I help, I was just talking to someone on the way here, like that drives me, like whatever I can do. If somebody's in a wheelchair, I was trying to get somebody in a wheelchair on a hunt yesterday. Like, hey, I don't have anybody that's successful. And I called my buddy through some organizations I know. I'm like, hey man, can we get this person out there? Like, yeah, we'll see what we can do. Might not be this season, might be next season.
Right.
But
dude, you just said the key, man. Helping other people.
Yeah.
It's the only thing that ever got me out of my shit. Whenever I'm not feeling well, that's what I do. And it's never failed me yet.
Yep. Absolutely.
Do you do speaking and all that?
I do. A little bit. I wouldn't say I'm like a huge motivational speaker. I'm not afraid to get up in front of a crowd. One of my chiefs was like, hey man, how you feel about doing the sexual assault training for the base? And I was like, not really my thing necessarily. That's when I was in Korea. And he's like, well, I already signed you up, so you're doing it. And I was like, so I did it. And I actually really loved it because it helped a lot of people. You know, I taught the whole base sexual assault. Right. And now that echoes into my flags. You know, there's a banquet.
Sexual assault?
Mm-hmm.
That's what you taught?
Yeah.
Were you showing them all the slides and everything?
Yeah. I was when I went back to Korea, they called it green dot training.
Okay.
So like you're, you know, making a positive impact, you're green dot, you're bad influence, you're red dot. So.
Gotcha. But for those that haven't been in the military, whenever you go to a new base or you first get somewhere, is this what you were doing? You basically sit down in a theater all day and they give you training. And one of the big portions is STDs and sexual assault and all that stuff. Mm-hmm. And they show you some of the most graphic pictures of STDs you've ever seen in your life. This
was more of like not the STD side. This is like the behavioral side.
Right, for sure. Dude, so what With your flags, like, are you looking for a way to, like, one day this needs to be mass produced and you're not having to do them? Or are you always going to keep it where you doing it hand craftsmanship?
I've had multiple opportunities of people coming up, like, let me help you scale this, let me invest and things like that. And I was like, the flags being mass produced aren't my mission. I love making them. They're mine. I'm at almost 400 of them that I've made myself. I know buddies that do woodworking. But I have a connection with them as a tool as well as what they are. So I don't, I tell people, I'm like, you want a flag? Because mine are expensive. Mine are the most expensive flags you're probably going to find. And I was like, you can go to Buc-ee's and buy a flag, a wavy flag. They're mass produced. I think they're a better known company. They're made with a CNC machine. Perfectly fine, but they're not mine.
Right.
But no, it's, I'll hold on to them. I don't know if I'll do it forever, but there's something to the fact before my mom passed away, she told me when I very first started doing it, like on the second one, she's like, you need to number these. They need to be serial numbered. And I was like, I don't really care. Like I might sign them or something like that, She's like, no, I want you to number them. And I was like, okay. So I ordered steel plates. Like if you look on the back of yours, there's a steel plate on the back with an actual number. And it was from my second one on. I did that.
Right.
Yeah. So each one has that steel plate. And I still had the 001 because that made it out before my mom suggested that. And the connection that people have to those numbers is crazy. Like they'll be like, man, my favorite number is this. And, my buddy, they got 357. He's like, I don't want to give up 357. But I told him, you gave that one away. You've given it for the fundraiser for that family that got in an accident. I'm giving you 400. So I was like, that's a big milestone number for me. I didn't know I'd make that many, but
damn, dude. Yeah. Well, I appreciated you putting the I Am Redemption logo on there, and then it was for the 100th episode. You got the gold 100 on there, brother. That thing means the world, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
What is so you were talking about before that initially when you were getting out of the military, you got into nonprofits, and that's kind of where the world's direction is taking you at this point.
Yeah.
What's that look like?
So the one thing is I don't think a lot of people even know about nonprofits and what they are. Most people know about like Wounded Warrior Project or something like that. In Texas, I would say we probably have just veteran-wise. I bet you there's 100,000 nonprofits.
I know about all the ones that are illegally taking money and doing
wrongs. There's a lot of really bad ones, and there's a lot of really good ones. And when I came back, like I said, I was still in, and I'm telling people about this organization. I'm like, man, look at all the stuff they do, and they don't just do that retreat thing. They have the biggest nonprofit fishing tournament in the world once a year out in California. I got to go on that. That's the one that they had canceled. And we ended up going to Montana instead.
Oh, yeah.
And that's called War Heroes on Water. But when I went to that, I was like, dude, this is insane. Like, it's just insane memories that they're able to help people make. And I tell people that now. I'm like, the nonprofit world, through donors and great people that have businesses and organizations that donate to these nonprofits, they can provide veterans, first responders, and their families these memories that they couldn't provide themselves. And I like to think that, like, if you have something to look forward to on the calendar, you hang out with the bros, especially after deployments. Everybody refers to that one time in Afghanistan, that one time in Iraq, we got into it. And I like to have enough stuff to look forward to and to have people to look forward to that they leave those memories behind. Mm-hmm. You don't want to forget them. You know what I mean? You lose people in combat, and I think all that means something, but I want to see what you're doing now.
Yeah.
Like, your redemption is in the future. It's not in the past, right? So, like, your memories are down the road. That's why your windshield is bigger than the rearview mirror, you know what I mean? So it's just, that's what they can provide, and people don't know. So through my social media, everybody's like, man, you're like living life right now. And I'm like, dude, a lot of it's stuff that I just do myself. I'll fly myself somewhere and just put myself in a situation, but you got to go live, man. Like, you have to, and the resources are there, and they want to help. Mm-hmm. So
you just said about, being able to fly out somewhere and interject yourself. Like, that's where I've seen the most growth in everything I do, where I've truly been able to start helping and impacted people, was the fact of going to jump out there and fly out to California, fly to Indiana, fly to these places, go meet people. It's never done me wrong one time. I always meet who I'm supposed to meet. I always make lasting connections there. People's lives are always helped. Like, it's a scary thing to do.
Yeah.
To jump out there like that.
I had an idea the other day. I was at the gym. I was like, I wonder who I know at SHOT Show. I'm about to get into the world of the podcast era. and for me, into that chapter. And I was like, I want to do something at SHOT Show. I looked up SHOT Show. It's in January. And I was like, who do I know that's at SHOT Show? One of my buddies owns an ammo company. I called him. He's like, yeah, I got a booth at SHOT Show with Crack Precision. And he's like, you want to go out there and we'll try and link you up to do a podcast or whatever. Probably have to get a media pass and stuff like that. I'm like, now I know 5 people that are going to be at SHOT Show. And, one of the biggest, outdoor tactical, gun world stuff, hunting world, on the planet. Yeah, dude, there's a million opportunities like that, like rodeo. I go to the rodeo and I donated to the rodeo, and now they have an event for 5,000 veterans in Houston that I was at donating flags, and it's crazy.
Dude, let's go.
Yeah. So it's,
so you're getting into the podcasting world.
Yep.
That's next. What is the, if you're allowed to give any information, what's it called? Who are you doing it with? What's it about?
Yeah. So my buddy Hodge and Hodge is another fellow TAC-P. We're just in the final stages of putting it together. We'll have an episode that launches on Christmas. It's going to be called the Outreach Project. I went round and round trying to hone in a name for it, but that's really what it is. What I found out over time is that nobody knows about these nonprofits. So in the U.S., we basically spend $400 to $500 billion a year on nonprofits, and we can't get them to veterans. Like, no one's connected the dots to help hone that in for veterans. So our content is literally going to be all these organizations that are out there crushing it. Any organizations that want to get on, have them on, and then consolidate their info with their social media, their YouTube clips, and really show people like what they're doing. When you hear about a nonprofit, it sounds like an office building. Mm-hmm. It sounds like some organization that's just doing, fundraisers on the weekend. There's people doing killer shit, like hunting out of helicopters and like there's everything from cancer research, getting people wheelchairs, to, things for families, events for families, and hunts, and hiking mountains, hiking the Grand Canyon. Like, there's a whole world of memories that are waiting to be created that I can connect people with through this. So what we're going to do is have people on the podcast, consolidate their information on the site, and then have a list of vetted organizations that people can actually utilize. Not just some organization that may or may not answer the phone. If they don't answer the phone, that's where I come in. And I'm now your resource. I'm the consultant that's going to reach out to those guys and be like, hey man, they're trying to get a hold of you. What's up?
Dude, that's incredible.
Yeah. So
that's incredible. Yeah. Dude, I started doing so much has come from just starting to do this podcast. Like, I didn't know, what I mean? At first, when I started going down that road, I was passionate about speaking. I like motivational speaking, public speaking. And then I met with the, TSI Studios and the owners there, and they kind of propped this idea up for me. And I was like, man, I've been blessed for my story to be able to be told. So it's like, if I can give that to somebody else on a small scale, fuck yeah, let's do it. And so I did one, and I was like, oh, this is the shit. And so I've continued to do it. And the big thing about podcasting is everybody quits.
yeah,
The average is 3 episodes. Nobody really, 3 episodes and people quit. I heard 3, and then I heard most people don't ever get to 7. Those are the 2 numbers that I remember. And there's one thing about me, is one thing I do know is I won't quit. I'll keep going. And so I could have never have dreamt that just from doing this little podcast that it would ever come to where it would become a run group, or it would become a Thursday night meeting. We're getting ready to do a Monday night men's meeting. And then through all this, I remember having the conversation, I'm diving into social media, I'm getting better at it, I'm doing these videos and all that. And I don't want to sell anything. I don't want to sell, like, I have merch. If somebody wants to support I Am Redemption, they can absolutely buy it. You'll never see me post about it. You'll never see me trying to push it. I got it if anybody wants it. I don't want to sell merch. I was a recovery coach for a long time. I was a trainer for a long time. That's not what I do anymore. I can still do those things, but I don't want to be an online coach or anything. And so I was sitting around looking, and it was like, man, like, I love what I'm doing. It's helping change people's lives, but I don't necessarily care about the money. Like, that's not why I do this. That's not my payment. And so then I started thinking about, then somebody brought up the idea. They're like, why don't you start a nonprofit? Well, I'm coming this like humble, newly sober drug addict, you know what I mean? It was like, I didn't ever think that I could start a nonprofit or do anything like that. And so I Am Redemption has officially become a nonprofit. We got our tax exempt status, largely credited to my wife. But it opened up this whole world where it was like, holy shit, like, now the sky's the limit on like the people that I can help. The toughest thing for me has been transitioning out of this mindset of like, I don't like asking for things. Sure as fuck don't like asking for money from anybody. You know what I mean? And so I was sitting there and I was talking to a gentleman who's a very, very successful businessman. And I was telling him that, and he kind of framed it to me in another way. And he goes, "You're not asking for your help. You're asking for those people."
Exactly.
And I was like,
that's what I was going to say.
I was like, for whatever reason, I didn't think of it like that. And then, we just got told, this is the first time I'm saying it publicly, but we just got told we're going to be one of the official nonprofits for the Austin Marathon.
Hell yeah.
And so I can remember immediately it took me back. And one of the biggest, most important things that happened for me is I was sitting in treatment. I wanted to start on this run thing. Wanted to lose a couple pounds. Heard about this little run group. And I remember going to that run group and they signed me up for my first race and they gave me my first pair of running shoes. And it was like the biggest win in the world.
Yeah.
I got these new pair of running shoes. I didn't even want to wear them to run in because I didn't want to get them dirty or anything.
Yeah.
But dude, just coming from being in treatment and having this low self-esteem and everything like that, it was such a win for me. And so to be able to, now I want to be able to do that for other people. Now I do things called like Dying Redemption games. I want to do that for other people. And you're so right, because literally every fucking time I talk to another veteran or somebody else, I hear about all these nonprofits that are taking guys scuba diving, they're taking them out hunting, they're taking them out kayaking, mountain climbing, out on how to dress a deer, like all these different things. I was like, man, I've never heard about any of this shit. I didn't know any of this was out here. Mm-hmm. And dude, we talk about, there's 22 veterans a day. Most of those people are all isolated, thinking they're alone, thinking they're going through all these problems, not knowing that all this shit is out here that you could be going and doing. Yeah. That we miss, and it is so natural for us to be around each other and get back around each other and have these things that actually make us excited to get up out of bed every morning. Yeah. So that's fucking awesome that you're about to open that world to eyes to a lot of people.
Yeah, it's just there's a whole world, and it really is like the opportunities that are there. What I tell guys too is there's a pride thing with veterans, and it's not just the special warfare community; it's all across the board, where people are like, I don't deserve it. Someone else deserves it more than I do, and they stiff arm it. They stiff arm opportunities, and what I tell them is like, it's cool to get to go on a trip or something like that, but once you go on it and you see it, you network with people, your new mission, your responsibility is now passing that on. Same thing you said beginning of your video, the soft white underbelly video. If you kept your lessons through addiction to yourself, you would have considered that foul. You go on one of these trips or connect with an organization that can help 100,000 other people and you don't tell anybody about it, that's on you.
Yep.
Like, it's now your responsibility, like as like a supervisor and a leader. Like, if I found out about an opportunity, I'm going to take it to my team and be like, dude, like, let's go. Like, let's, this dude needs a wheelchair. Let's get it for him. They can pay for it. They're the people that want to help, that have the resources. All we got to do is get him out there.
Yeah.
And it's literally just a whole untapped world of potential that, I just really want to drive home to people.
Oh yeah, and it's needed, dude.
Yeah,
it's needed.
Yeah,
the military is the only thing I've ever encountered in my entire life where we could go spend a weekend together. You know what I mean? Where we're out in the field, whatever it is, and instantly, just from that very short amount of time, bonded for life.
Yeah,
I can remember the faces and names of more people in my basic training class than I can the people I went to high school with.
Yeah,
like I know that, you know what I mean? I know those people. Yeah, dude. I just think when I went to there's a nonprofit called Band of Runners. They just had their weekend in Austin, and it's a bunch of veterans that get together and they go out and they trail run. It's a bunch of ultra runners. They'll have, some bigger time ultra runners that come out, big coaches that come out. And at the time I was already in the trail running world. You know what I mean? It saved my life. It was this new community. It was very close to what I had felt in the military. Mm-hmm. I had my people. We're going to doing rallies.
Yeah.
And I remember going out there that weekend and seeing there was a bunch of people out there that weren't runners. They weren't trail runners. They didn't know about this world. And I watched, and I went and did that. That was probably 4 years ago I did that. And I'm still connected with those people that I went and spent one weekend with, running around out in the woods in Leakey, Texas. But I'm still connected with all those people. They're still hitting me up that they're coming into town. Let's get a run in. Let's go on like that. But one weekend can be life-changing for somebody.
Yeah. I just put it on a video I did recently where I can count on more than both hands now of the people, and a couple of them have really hit me hard. But one story was one of my buddies was in a bad place, and I've said this before, but he was in a bad place and hit me up and was just kind of telling me what was going on in his life. And, kids, wife, everything was kind of falling apart. Work was falling apart. He's out of the military now. And I was like, hey man, I have some organizations. Like if I could get you out in the world, would you go? Like if I could find something to send you on to get you just a change of scenery for right now, to pull you out of what you're going through. And he's like, yeah, I might think about it, you know. And I immediately pick up the phone, call one of my buddies who's with one of the nonprofits. And I was like, hey man, this dude needs something. He's a combat vet. Like he meets the criteria for the nonprofit. If I get him the application, can you get him something? He's like, dude, we got a trip going to Oregon in like, 2 weeks. And I reached back out. I was like, hey man, would you sign up? I'm sending you right now. Sign this. Like you're signing up. So he goes, ends up connecting with all these dudes. And then tells me years later, like if he wouldn't have had that resource, he may or may not have taken his life. Didn't tell me that, and that's happened. I can count literally on more than both hands now people that have said that. And it's like, you just don't know. You know what I mean? You don't know what somebody's really going through at heart. You don't know, what's going on in their world, or what that trip means to them, or what that event. It could just be getting together with other veterans to just connect with somebody that hears them,
Yep.
And you don't know that until you go.
Right.
So you're going to meet people that need you probably more than you need them.
Yep.
So,
and that one thing you've been holding on to that you don't want to talk about, as soon as you see it, you're going to see a bunch of eyes lock on you because they're going through the same thing.
Yep. 100%.
Damn. Bro, somebody that's listening to this right now, and I know you, like you're saying, you're still going through it, but somebody that heard this and they're like, dude, that's me. That's how I feel right now. Like they're going through it right at this moment. What do you say to them?
You got to reach out, man. And I put my phone number literally on my Facebook, on my social media. My actual business card is my personal cell phone number. I'm like, dude, anytime, whatever the case may be, I don't care if I get a bunch of spam calls anyways, dude. I'll answer. Like, and just, you have to reach out. The resources are there. Mm-hmm. So if people won't use them, I want to make them use them. Like I want to make them so in your face that like it's so enticing that you can't not use it.
Right.
So yeah, dude.
Bro, man. You found a really, really cool way of using your experience to help other people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Usually push people to speaking and that, but dude, the fact that you're like literally the pivot guy that's like getting people are coming in here. The resources guy, you're able to plug people into where they need it. It's fucking cool.
Yeah. It's like when my mom passed away, like I know it wasn't like you said in your video, you're not a Bible thumper. I've never been, I wouldn't say my mom forced me to go to church as a kid, but she kind of did. I was a redheaded problem child, So, I feel like when she passed away, she channeled her energy to me, and she was like the most loving, caring, just best person that you could be. And I inherited all that, like literally. And it's always like, what would mom do? And she wanted me to continue what I was doing. And she's like, going to get a good job and buy cars and stuff, like that's all great. But like, you can do more than that. Like you're meant for a lot more than just buying a car. For like, let's go change lives now.
For sure.
Like, all right.
The woman that helped me start this podcast, one of the OGs of this shit. She was hit by cancer multiple times. So cancer has always had a special place in mine. I just went to an event last week. Are you familiar with the Night Birdie Foundation?
No.
This woman, I can't think of her name, but she went on America's Got Talent, and she had stage 4 cancer. I forget which one. And bro, she sang this song, and like, I mean, if you're a human being and you watch this and you don't cry, like there's something wrong. And then she got, I'm not a big America's Got Talent person, but apparently there's like a golden thing where you may automatically get
the golden buzzer.
Yeah, like Simon gave her the door ticket, and
that's cool.
He was telling a story, and the brothers who heads up their nonprofit now, and he's trying to help continue his sister thing, living on, helping people, and he talked about this cool moment, and it's again, I'm not a big Bible thumper, but God works his ways, and it just so happened that right around the time I think he was getting ready to like launch this thing and get it going, and was very scared, had no idea what to do with nonprofits or anything like that. It just so happened that they did like a recap of Simon's top 10 golden buzzers, and she was number 1. Oh, wow. And overnight, hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars got donated to them for that. And so now they're going around using that to help people, and it's just like, whoa.
I mean, the thing that you just did just now, where you said, do you know what the Night Birdie Foundation is the exact same thing that happens to me everywhere I go. somebody hears, it'll be a conversation that say, do you know about this? Do you know about this? I'm like, no. And as it started happening more and more, I'm like, no. I'm like, why does nobody know about any of these? So that's literally why I'm doing what I'm doing. So like those people are the people I want on my podcast.
Yeah.
Because the badass stories that go with them of like changing lives, the people that are doing really good things with their nonprofit are going to want to come on and talk about what they do. The people that don't are just collecting funding to go do whatever they do, they're not going to want to come on.
Right.
So.
And you're talking about all nonprofits too, not just veteran?
All nonprofits.
All nonprofits.
Yeah. Because it's all resources. You know what I mean? So I'd rather have too many than not enough.
Right.
And I think they're for everybody. You know what I mean? There's something out there that affects everybody. You know, whether it's horseback riding, cancer research, or, you know, badminton, whatever the case may be. There's something for absolutely everyone. So.
What would you say? Of getting going on social media? Because most people love consuming the content, but most people don't have the, you know what I mean? They're not all about getting in front of the camera. They're surely not about being open and vulnerable with their stuff. But what has been your biggest learning lesson as you've jumped into the social media world?
I mean, and I'm not a social media expert either. You know what I mean? I don't have a huge following, but I'm not afraid to put myself out there. And that's what people can relate to. When you look at like big name artists and music or whatever, whether they're good or not, people can relate to them. So that's why people like them. Mm-hmm. And I think that goes for anything. When people are good at their craft, like I'm super passionate about these flags. There's other people that make flags that don't do well with them. They see the passion that I have with them. They see what's behind them. They buy into the story and they're like, dude, like, you're right. Why don't we help more people? Mm-hmm. And it's, good shit is infectious. So like, if you're getting into social media, you just got to be yourself and figure out what message you want to send and make sure it's the right one. Mm-hmm. And put yourself out there. Yeah. But if you're not being real with somebody, like the language you speak isn't your real language and you're trying to be some you're not, people can see right through it. If you're authentic, people are going to relate, you know, like just be yourself.
Yep.
If people don't like it, they can tune into somebody else.
For sure.
So.
Yeah, people that do the social media thing and they got a large following and they're not using it to help other people. Those aren't usually people that I would ever have on or that I usually fuck with. They don't interest me.
No.
I feel like if you're blessed to build it into a large following like that and you're not using it to help other people, then why the fuck do you have it?
Yes.
It's all self-serving.
Yeah. One who told me is like, your biggest problem right now, and I looked at this of like, it's a whole nother, I'm starting to, you know, it's an LLC behind the podcast. I want to take on sponsors. I want to make it as big as possible. Unlike my woodworking, I was like, I don't want to scale it. I don't want someone to saw their finger off and it be my fault. Right. But he told me, he's like, you need to stop trying to bootstrap everything. I looked at it like, if it cost me $50,000 to do something, to do a podcast or whatever, to get studio time and do all that stuff, how many flags do I need to sell to do that? Mm-hmm. And then I'll just go pay for it. And he's like, don't do that. That's not how you do it. This is big boy stuff. Like, you want to make big changes in people's lives, learn how to take on sponsors, investors, and utilize them the right way.
Yeah.
So, like you were saying, you don't want to necessarily sell stuff, but you have a responsibility now. And I told one of my other friends that has a nonprofit too. She's like, I don't really like getting up and speaking in front of people. I was like, you have a responsibility now. Mm-hmm. You run a nonprofit with, 1,500 people in the room. You better get up and speak in front of that damn crowd.
Yeah. Because
people are depending on you. Your message is depending on you. And you're not going to reach those people unless you're willing to put yourself out there.
Right.
So what you're doing specifically is going to change you. Mm-hmm. It's going to make you grow. It's going to make you learn things you didn't learn. When you step into a river, you'll never step out of it the same person. You're a different person when you step out, and you can't step back in the same place because the river's already gone. Mm-hmm. And that's so true. It's like, when it changes you, you have to let it, and you have to grow with it. Right. So, or it'll die and it'll outgrow you.
Dude, I mean, we're in such a unique time right now because getting out of the military, I'm not the 9-to-5 guy. Mm-hmm. I'm so lucky and so blessed that we live in a time now where I was able to identify a passion, I was able to identify a purpose, and I was able to turn it into something because we have social media, because we have podcasting,
100%.
Because we have AI. Like the most important question I've ever been asked my entire life was getting ready to start this, and somebody looked at me. I was getting ready to accept ownership in the company that I was working for, and then they were talking to me about the speaking thing and podcasting and all that, and they were like, The guy was like, Shawn, he's like, I'm gonna make an observation. He's like, every time I see you talk about this company and the ownership and all that, he's like, I have no doubt you could be amazing at both, but you owe 100% of yourself to whichever one you're gonna pick. You owe it to those people. And he goes, every time I see you talk about this company or whatever, for whatever reason, you seem to kind of show down. But as soon as I see you start talking about speaking, like, you come alive. And he's like, so my question is, are you gonna keep building for somebody else, or are you gonna build for yourself? And he said that, dude. It like hit me in the heart. It was like, he's right. Why am I not doing that? I could do it. And it was the most important question. So now I'm always posing that question to people, because I'll talk to so many people in the gym or whatever, and it's even my wife. That's largely the reason why we have a nonprofit now, is because I had that conversation, and she started diving in, realizing how qualified she is to do something like that. And then she did all the hard legwork. But it's like, now is the time, man. Build something for yourself. Align with your passion. Do something you're passionate about. Stop going and making somebody else some fucking money just for a paycheck.
Yeah. And I think it's our tendency, especially coming out of the military, is like, you're used to the structure of something that's already there.
Yeah.
I'm coming out of the military, you have your retirement and disability and stuff. And when I went to work and then I realized I had a paycheck coming in, I'm sitting there like, when he said we're going to be working nights and weekends for the next 3 months. And I was like, no, like, why would I do that? Like, I'm okay if it's 9 to 5. But at the time, I was like, even then, I'm just fitting in. And I was at Texas Roadhouse and I was bitching about it to the bartender, and this guy sitting next to me, and I swear, dude, to this day, I've never seen the guy again. He looked like the old school pictures of Jesus, and he's sitting there and he's like, so you make all this woodworking stuff, right? You're really good at it? And I was like, yeah, I think so. And I'm showing him, and I'm all excited about it, showing him, and he's like, you sound like a creator that's not creating anything. And I was like, bitch, who are you talking to? Like, but he was 100% right. And now, like, if I'm not allowed to be creative, if I have to go fit into someone else's box, yeah, it's good to have a constant paycheck and like to buy things, but it's not creating and it's not filling that cup up at all. Doing this helps me fill my cup up. When same thing, people are like, man, you talk about these organizations and like connecting people and saving lives, and people aren't committing suicide, and you're helping create memories. Like, that's where you're at.
Yep.
Who cares about how much money you can make as a civilian with your degree? No one gives a shit. They care about you helping people and what you're doing.
Right.
I was like, damn it, I can't go back to work. I say I'm back to work, but like, I have my own business, you know what I mean? But in my mind, I'm always like, I might go back to work. And I'm like, they're like, you are working.
Because it doesn't feel like work?
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, I heard Rogan say something one time, and he said something about basically once you have the money to cover your bill, once he had the money to cover his bills, he didn't have to worry about his bills anymore. That was good. Everything after that was just kind of a headache. And I've reached the point in my life where I don't ever stress about my bills anymore. And all I know is when, like, I go out on the times where I'll, splurge and go buy something, and even if it's shoes or something like that, like, not one time is that it was cool for the moment that I bought it, and by the next day, like, that void is still there. I never filled the fucking hole. Yeah. The only way I fill that hole is by helping people somehow.
Yeah. In my mind, I think I want like this lifestyle that I probably really don't want. You want like I'm a car guy, so it's always been like, I want like a really nice, and then I got it. Like, I had a Corvette, and then like once I got it, and my mom told me the same thing. She's like, it's not actually having the thing. Mm-hmm. It's getting the thing. Yeah. You want the hunt. You want the earning the thing. And once you have it, you're already on to the next thing. So she's like, it's never been the thing. Even since you were a kid. I mean, I bought my first car at 12. But like, and we didn't have a lot of money. I bought it myself. I worked at a dishwasher at a restaurant, and I bought my first car at 12. No, and she's like, it's just never ended. And if you just do that your whole life, you're just keeping up with the Joneses your whole life. Yep. And I did that, in the military. And I've admittedly said that when I was at Wells Fargo, I was just buying cars because I was pissed that I was there. So like, I was buying a car, and I had a car that I ordered. And then the dude told me, he's like, hey, we're going to be working nights and weekends for the next 3 months. And I was like, no, dude. Canceled the car, sold mine, traded mine in, one vehicle down. I was like, downsize. Immediately, I was like, you need to figure this out. You need to do whatever you have to do to make it work and do your own thing for now. So.
You're a car guy. What's your dream car?
I would say, in my mind, it's like a GT3 RS. Okay. I had a Porsche for a little bit. I had a cheap Porsche, not an expensive Porsche, but
Boxster.
It was a Cayman. Okay. Yeah, but like a Ford GT, that's like the real dream car. Yeah. But I want a whole garage full of cars. I'm still a car guy. Who knows if I would want it when I had it, but probably not. Bit in my mind, I think I do. But
Bro, I'd love to have an old Cutlass or an old Monte Carlo with T-tops. I just want something simple.
Yeah.
Let me get a black Monte Carlo with T-tops.
I'd be afraid of someone hitting it in San Antonio, but yeah.
Why, it's as bad in San Antonio?
Traffic is bad. Phones are bad.
Fuck, it sucks driving back. When I drove back up to Austin from down here, it's like, fuck.
Yeah, I mean,
Fuck 35.
yeah, traffic between Austin and San Antonio was just
Ain't getting better either.
no.
Damn.
So,
Got a hypothetical for you.
yeah.
You're a big boy. Tonight, you're walking out UFC Heavyweight Championship of the World. What's your walkout song?
Oh man. Something Aaron Lewis probably. Which is, like Aaron Lewis is lead singer of Stain.
Okay.
Lead singer.
Yeah.
So, Aaron Lewis has always been my jam.
The guy?
Yeah. So he's a country singer now.
Oh, okay. Everybody.
He's got the big "Don't Tread on Me" tattoo on his neck, and he's American, as red blood American as you get, dude. And one of my buddies actually just met him the other day. I was like, dude, I'm jealous, man.
Really?
Yeah, he's well into the nonprofit kind of space and like whatever supporting veterans he can do. I went to his concert at Floors here in San Antonio, and big country concert, and there's a lot of controversy out in the world right now. He comes out to the Pledge of Allegiance, and I was like, that's my dude right there, man.
Yeah.
Wow. So, yeah, he's just hardcore American, like badass. He's out smoking cigarettes in the parking lot with people. He's like, don't tell anybody I'm out here, like drinking a beer.
Isn't it wild that we limit? I don't want to go down this hole, but isn't it wild that we live in a fucking time where you could be looked at as one way for coming out and saying the Pledge of Allegiance?
Yeah.
You're immediately segregated into one.
The flags are that way too, unfortunately. And somebody mentioned that a while ago. They're like, isn't it sad that people know a lot about you when you have an American flag flying out in front of your house? And I was like, that is 100% true.
It's fucking wild.
Yeah, it's wild.
I mean, I feel like it's better than last year.
Yeah.
The pendulum has swung a little bit.
Yeah.
Swinging real back hard the other way, but I can't tell you how many times, bro, the gym that I work out at, honestly, like, it's not, I've been used to a bodybuilder style gym. You're in a bunch of fucking dudes. They guess that thinks that they're alphas and all that shit, and I fucking love it.
Yeah.
But I started working at another gym that doesn't really have that energy or whatever, and this is probably only a me thing, but I feel like I walked in there and got judged immediately because I'm bearded up, tatted up, and they automatically think I'm right wing, fucking this and that, and I could give a fuck about politics. As long as the president takes care of vets, I'm good.
Yeah.
I don't really give a shit, and I want a president to look strong, whoever it is.
Yeah. Yeah, I know there's a lot of good and evil out there, no matter how you feel, but the thing I tell people now is like, dude, worry about what you can control. Mm-hmm. Like, a lot of these people will never know who you are, as any civilian in the world wise. So like, you getting on social media or whatever and like being all mad about everything and doing that to your family and friends, just worry about what you can control. Live a better life. So be good to people. That's all you can really do, man.
Look, a lot simpler life that way.
Yeah. You want to enjoy the places you live, go outside. You want to hate it, turn on TV and watch it. And turn on the news.
Yeah, right. But where can people find you?
So I'm a website for the flags and such as warsandmerch.com. Instagram is wars_N, or just Josh Melching. So, yeah. And for real, anybody that wants to call me, like, you can literally put my phone number on there. People need something and need to reach out to somebody, my business card is on there. My phone number is on there. So
about it.
Yeah.
He's about real life.
Put your money where your mouth is, dude.
Real life Mike Jones. He's putting his phone number out there.
Yeah. And I'm single too. No big deal.
Just saying, lady.
No kids. Giant Doberman.
You got? I got two.
Yeah, I have a giant Doberman who thinks he's a mini horse lapdog.
Yeah, they do.
He's 140 pound. He's my dude though. He's 9. He'll be 9 next month.
I went. My in-laws live in El Paso, and the first time I went out there, I come walking through the door, and there's two fucking monster male Dobermans staring at me. Bro, they came up, they sniffed me, and once they realized I was like part of the fam, those fuckers sat down, posted up next to me everywhere I went, outward facing, guarded me the whole time, and I was a Doberman dude from that moment on. We came back, and my wife had been bugging me for dogs, and I didn't grow up with dogs. Like, when I grew up, dogs was on the chain out in the backyard.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They weren't in the house or anything like that. And that's just how I had grown up. And so finally I was like, all right, cool, we can get one. And then we got one. Now we have two. And then I'm the one now that's like, well, we got 2 girls. I mean, I need the monster boy right in the middle. And that neither of their ears are clipped, and so I want to get your ears clipped.
Yeah.
I didn't. For those people, those dog lovers out there, I get not wanting to clip the ears. But now that I have Dobermans without clipped ears, I realize why they clip them, because they're constantly fucking with their ears because they're so big.
And nobody says anything about their tails. Their tails are docked from birth, and no one says anything about that. Which to me, they're like, oh, I can't believe you did their ears. I'm like, well, you didn't say anything that they have a nub for a tail. They actually have a tail.
Right.
And they're like...
tail's like 6 fucking feet
Yeah,
long.
so I'm like, I'm a Doberman dude, man. When I was at Texas Roadhouse last night, and I get a steak to go. They're like, it's for Max, isn't it? I'm like, yeah, it is.
Yeah.
He gets his own steak.
No shit.
Yeah, and I'll cut it up and I'll give it to him as little treats over a couple days.
Really?
He's 140 pounds. If I put a steak down in front of him, he can swallow the whole thing at once. So I was like, I make him enjoy it. I give it over a couple days. So.
And dude, I need to get Texas Roadhouse as a sponsor, because fucking Texas Roadhouse is my fucking favorite.
Yeah.
I go to all these bougie steakhouses and all that. It does not compare to a Texas Roadhouse steak, dude.
Yeah.
I've never been disappointed at Texas Roadhouse once.
Texas Roadhouse to me is like Cheers. Like when I walk in, I make the signs. They have their little name things for the bartenders. I make those for them.
Do you really?
Yeah. So like when people will sit at the bar, like last night when I walk in, they're like, hey Josh, whatever. And the people sitting there are like, do you work here? And I'm like, I mean, pretty much, but that's where everybody I know goes. Like tonight, it'll be Friday night. They're going to be at Texas Roadhouse. So.
What up to everybody?
Yeah, it's like a family, dude.
It's good shit. It's like Cheers.
Yeah, it really is.
Do you know what Cheers is?
I've heard about it. Like my dad taught me Cheers.
That's how you know you're old.
Yeah, that's how it's like. I
MASH.
Yeah, I heard it's like an old school, like kind of like Texas Roadhouse style. That's what I heard. But about
Cheers was a show.
Was it? Oh, a show. Okay,
It's
yeah.
bar, yeah.
Okay. Where everybody knows your name.
Yeah, I'm sure. Wow.
Do you know who Woody Harrelson is?
Yeah, I know that.
This is like OG Woody Harrelson. Oh, wow, I had hair.
Yeah.
But I still did it.
Yeah, that's a minute ago. Wow, shit.
Yeah.
I was doing a podcast with a bodybuilder girl, Julia, and at one point we're talking about working out and all that, and at one point I referenced I want to say Gene Simmons, who's the skinny workout guy from back in the day that was on the other bands and all that shit. It's not Gene Simmons.
Richard Simmons.
Simmons.
I was going to say Simmons is right.
I made the Richard Simmons reference, and I just saw her face go blank, and I was like, you know who Richard Simmons is? And she was like, no. And I was like, how old are you? And I think she was in her 20s. And I was like, oh, fuck.
Yeah.
I'm over shit.
Yeah. Don't feel like it, but
Right.
it is what it is.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, brother, I can't thank you enough for taking the time to get on here, being vulnerable. Dude, my heart is with you, with your mom. Anything I could do to help support your sister in any way, form, or fashion, say the word. If I can share anything, please shoot it over. I got you. Should have told you about this before we started the show, so you had a little bit of time to prep. But the way we like to wrap up the show, you look nervous.
No.
If you would, take a look in your camera. It's right here.
Okay.
You got to know you a little bit. If you drop some I am statements, that let them know who you really are. So it could be, I am War's End, I am a bad motherfucker, I am JTAC, I am Josh, I'm a son, whatever you want to be. A couple I am statements to let people know who you truly are.
So I'm dedicated. I am War's End. I am the outreach project. I think that's me, dude. I would say I am military, but it's I think that persona is past.
Yeah.
So this is me now.
Well, dude, I'm excited to see it. Podcast coming soon. Drops on Christmas Day.
Christmas Day. I think it's going to be our initial first episode launch.
What made you? My birthday's the day before Christmas. What made you pick Christmas as release date?
I think right now, I think it's when everybody has a lot of downtime and it's just a good day. Everybody's hanging out, and I normally do something for the holidays around fundraising and stuff like that. So we'll probably incorporate that into it and do some cool shit. So.
Bro, if you ever want to do an event or anything like that,
Yeah.
boy, we could fucking help veterans, bro.
Yeah.
Let's get it.
No, we got a lot of work to do.
The coolest